What is good people? You are now listening to the latest episode of Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. I am your humble narrator, Danny Foxworth. I'll start the podcast off with some random thoughts, then go into my podcast recommendation, and then talk about my personal health journey that's been going on these last couple of years. My first random thought. Dad, I know you're going to be listening to this podcast, and I am officially calling you out. I need my revenge. I need a foot race with you because the last time we raced and actually finished, I was 11 years old and you dusted my ass. Then we tried racing again when I was 13, but you stepped in that pothole and messed your ankle up. And I don't think we got a fair race that time. So I wanted to make it officially official. I don't care that you're 71 years old. I need my revenge. I need my comeuppance. All I ask is that you sign a waiver because if something goes bad, I don't need the blame. Straight up. Fight me. You can pick the place and the time. Let's go. My next random thought. I gotta give a big shout out to Carlos Dunlap, North Charleston, South Carolina's own Carlos Dunlap, for getting that Super Bowl ring and putting a great cap in his career. It's so wild to me that him and Robert Quinn were teammates in high school, both made it to the NFL, but each finished with over 100 career sacks. That's some unicorn shit right there. Hats off to them. They repping hard for the little country. And shout out to Rod Wilson too, who was a Chiefs assistant from Cross, South Carolina. He got his ring too. You'd love to see it. And lastly, the one thing that the world could stand to use right now is more Larry June. I've been playing the hell out of his music for the last couple weeks, and he's so good. So talented. He's carved his own lane, and dog, don't even get me started on them adlibs. They're so catchy. I'll be at work sometimes just go, good job, Danny. Suck it to me. Hey. Yay. Oh, them adlibs be cracking me up, and these just so damn addictive. And now here's my podcast recommendation. This is hands down my all-time favorite podcast series. It's Monster DC Sniper. It is a 17-part series chronicling the ordeal with John Muhammad and Lee Boy Malvo, and they get so in-depth on each episode. They're interviewing the people that got shot by the sniper, people that saw the stuff that took place while the shootings were going on. They interview Mildred Muhammad, who was John Muhammad, the sniper's ex-wife. They interview Lee Boy Malvo, who was the other half of the operation behind bars, and it just gets super in depth. It's a cliffhanger every single episode. I cannot recommend this podcast enough. So check it out, Monster DC Sniper. And for this last segment, I want to get a little personal with y'all and just share my health journey that's been going on these last, I say, 2.5 years. So we'll take it back to June of 2020. I was having real bad headaches one weekend, and I've been having these headaches off and on, but this particular weekend, I could not get out of bed. They were messing with me so bad. And so that Sunday evening, my mom comes over, and I had already told her I was having these bad headaches on Friday and Saturday, and they weren't getting any better. She was like, all right, I'm taking you to the emergency room. So they admit me, and they take my blood pressure, and it is astronomically high. And the ER doctor is saying, dude, this is probably the cause of your headaches. I'm going to prescribe you some blood pressure medication, and then I'm going to refer you to your doctor, and you go see him on Monday. So I went that Monday, and he prescribed me a different medication from the ER doctor, and he shot straight with me. He was like, bro, your blood pressure numbers are damn near in stroke territory, and you got to get this under control. I'm going to prescribe this blood pressure medication for you, but ultimately, you got to get off your ass and do something about this if you don't want this to happen to you anymore. So I took the necessary steps. I changed my diet. Well, not changed my diet, just changed my eating habits. And then I got my dad's old bicycle that he passed down to me, and I started taking bike rides around the neighborhood. And I would ride for at least 45 minutes, and I was just extremely consistent with that. And 6 months later, I'm back from my checkup. All my numbers are good. My blood work was good. My blood pressure was back to normal. And he told me straight up, shout out to Dr. Eric Lloyd at Berkeley Family Practice. He was like, you were doing a fantastic job with your health, and I'm super proud of you. And man, I left that doctor's office and I got in my car and I cried for about 20 minutes straight, because that was one of my proudest achievements, was having a goal, doing my due diligence, putting the work in, and meeting that goal, smashing that goal. And so 6 months later, after that follow-up, I come back and my numbers are still good, but then I run by him that, look, I'm in my 40s now. I'd like to get my colonoscopy. And he was like, okay, we'll do that. Normally with most doctors, if you don't have a history of colon cancer in your family, a lot of times they will say you don't really need a colonoscopy because of that. But I just wanted I like being proactive about my health. So he sets up an appointment. So 2 weeks later, the day before the procedure, I go to the pharmacist. I pick up my bowel solution and I drink that. I can't eat anything. All I can consume are clear liquids for that entire day. So fast forward to the morning of the procedure. Dad takes me down to Roper Hospital in Mount Pleasant. We go in the office and fill out the paperwork, check in, and then play the waiting game. And then about an hour later, they call my name, take me into a room. I got to switch into the hospital gown and lay in the hospital bed and wait for them to come roll me into the oncology room so they can start the procedure. Nurses come in, they roll me to the oncology room. I fill out some more consent forms, and then they lay me on my side. They inject the sedative in. They put the IV sedative in me, and within a minute, my lights are all the way out. And when I came to, the procedure only lasted about 35 or 40 minutes, but it felt like I slept for 8 hours. I felt fantastic and so well rested. But whenever they got through with the procedure, they wheeled me into another room. So when I came to, I'm like, where in the hell am I? And I started freaking out. And then the gastrointestinal doctor, Dr. Foisner, which shout out to him, he tells me, all right, the procedure's over with. Here's some images from your colonoscopy. Everything looks great. You can go ahead. I'm going to close the curtain. You can put your street clothes back on, and the nurses will put you in the wheelchair and they'll wheel you out to the entrance of the hospital, and your dad will be there to pick you up and go eat you something. I'm like, all right. So we left the hospital, got some cheeseburgers from Sonic, and I went home. So in summation, and this is for black men in particular, don't be too cool to go to the doctor. Get your shit checked out. Get your blood work done. Stay on top of your health, because we need y'all around. Like I say, like the last sentence of my IG bio, I'm trying to be here for a good time and for a long time. And I want the same for you too. And with that being said, this has been another episode of the Since We Last Spoke podcast. Make sure that you like it. Make sure that you download. Make sure that you subscribe. I appreciate the feedback and I appreciate the love greatly. This is the humble narrator, Danny Foxworth, signing off. And until next time, y'all be good. Peace.